not Bitter Talk Radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
All right. You are listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. Yes, I'm your host, Todd Huff. Hour number 2 here. We're streaming live on YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Good evening, depending upon when you're watching this program. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining us. And look, there's a lot to get to. There's a lot to get to in any given day today. Literally, we are witnessing, you can call it a revolution. You can call it in some degrees, you could call it a coup. We're looking at people that want to radically change and transform this nation. We want to see people... we have people who want to see the end of free market capitalism. We're looking at people who want to see not just our system of justice recreated. We want people that now want to see our entire political structure dismantled. And I played this soundbite. I'm going to play it again because some folks... I question your judgment if this is you, but some folks don't catch both hours of the program. So I want you to hear this. We played this last hour. Representative Ilhan Omar standing on steps, I'm presuming in front of the Capitol, although those may not be the Capitol steps. It's a bunch of steps in front of presumably a building. And she just matter-of-factly goes up to the microphone and utters these words for all to hear. Remember, as she utters these, remember that she raises her hand, takes an oath as a representative elected to Congress, and says that she promises to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is what any defender of the Constitution is supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be safeguarding the words and the truths that are outlined in that Constitution from all attacks, no matter where they come from, no matter the color, the race, the gender, the sexual preference, orientation, whatever. No matter who levies an attack against the Constitution, as a representative in this constitutional republic, you're supposed to defend the Constitution against those attacks. Instead, she's waging war on the Constitution, wanting to see our entire economic and political system effectively dismantled and started afresh, whatever the world this means. So I want you to hear this because this is kind of, I guess, the underlying... Most of what I say today is, almost all of what I said last hour, and a lot of what we're going to talk about this hour is said in contrast or in response to this nonsense. Here you go, Ilhan Omar making her case, making these matter-of-fact statements about the U.S., its economy, its constitution, its political system, and the system of justice. Here you go. No, here you go. Come on. There we go.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit, without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
All right, not just going to stop at our system of justice, not just going to stop at dismantling. Notice the choice of that word. And I love this too, by the way. They throw words out like dismantling our criminal justice system or whatever, dismantling the police. And conservatives will say this is dangerous. Oh man, you're misunderstanding. They don't want to really dismantle it. It's just a word that they use. Well, I have some news for some leftists and some media types and those in the Democrat Party. Words mean things. You know, when the founders crafted the Constitution and they wrote the words on the parchment, what they were writing was intended to communicate something. I don't want to get too complicated for the left today, the radical left here. I don't want to get too far out in front by stating the obvious here. But when you use a word, you know, when you communicate with someone, part of my job each and every day is to think about what it is that I want to communicate about an idea, about an issue, about our culture, whatever. Sometimes we talk about the Bible, we talk about God, whatever I want to communicate. I think about this. Think about how do I articulate that? And then I think, how do listeners hear this, right? And I don't just randomly start using gibberish and nonsensical words because you know what? I want to convey a message, and I try to use words. Sometimes we don't hit the mark. It's a very, very rare on this program, by the way. But, you know, the point is that I'm trying to get as close to communicating what I believe and know to be true and transfer that to you, the listener. A lot of these things you already know. You just, sometimes we all analyze and synthesize things differently. So sometimes it might be a new idea, but many times it's stating what you already know to be true. I've had some people say that sometimes they just can't articulate it. Sometimes you can articulate it very well. You just like to hear it maybe said in a different way or whatever. Sometimes it's a new concept. Sometimes it's something you've already thought. Sometimes it's maybe something you've been pounding your fist on the table saying, Todd, please say this. I can't hear you, by the way, when you do that. It's okay. I will allow it still. But the words mean things is my point, right? And I don't sit here and just think of random things to say. Now, let me pause and tell you that politicians are happy to do this. Politicians are happy to use words that they know mean things, but they have no intention of doing anything about it. All they want to do is get reelected. In fact, I wrote about this yesterday in our newsletter, which, by the way, is completely free, 100% free. I wrote about Joe Biden. You know, Joe Biden, I talked about this briefly on yesterday's program too. Joe Biden and his campaign, they want us to believe this silly notion that he believes our system is fundamentally flawed. Now, Joe Biden has served in the U.S. Senate. I think he had served, I thought he served one term in the House of Representatives. It goes back so far, and he didn't. He served on some local town council in his home community back in 1970 or whatever. He served 2 years there. Then he became senator, right? So he goes from town council to senator in Delaware. I think, it was in Delaware. And God bless him. I don't mean anything look, being in government is not like promotions at your job, your workplace. Government isn't designed to be something that is it's not a hierarchy where Senate is over, say, for example, town council. That's not the way that this is supposed to work. Instead, it's just we have a state and local authorities. We have federal authorities. But Joe Biden has been in the federal government since 1973, folks. He served as a senator from 73 to 2009 before he became vice president of the United States. 36 years. 36 years. Then he was vice president, not just for one term, but for 2 terms. 2 terms as a U.S. senator, vice president. 6 terms as a senator. Senators' terms are 6 years. 36 years plus 8 years in the White House as vice president. 44 years. This country is 244 years old. If you take the percentage of time that Biden has served in federal office, whether as a U.S. senator or as vice president. That is 18% of America's history. 18% of our entire existence, he's been in Washington, D.C. That's not even including the 4 years since the end of the Biden-Obama administration, as Joe Biden likes to call it. That doesn't even include that. So what's he been doing for those 4 years? Right? I mean, he set up his son, Hunter, to be able to profit, it looks like, allegedly. But the media says, there's nothing to see here. We've investigated that and nothing there. There's some legitimate questions absolutely that need to be asked. Look at what the Ukrainian government's doing. But anyhow, you look at this. Now, Biden's up there telling us in a video on 4th of July, he tells us that, look, America is fundamentally flawed. Fundamentally flawed. It's time for us to change it. Well, what's he been doing for 44 years? You would think if there's a fundamental flaw in a system that you've been, in, if you want to look at it this way, there's 100 senators, folks. 100 senators. He's one of 100. And then as vice president, he's one of two. I mean, if you want to put him in a group with the president, one of two people that are at the top of that particular branch of government. Could he not have introduced something in those times? Could he not have done something about the awful circumstances that exist in this nation? What was he doing for 44 years? That's my question. But this goes back to my point. Words mean things, and they want to act like he had no involvement in anything for 44 years. 18% of our history, he was in federal office, completely incapable, apparently, of doing anything. So he's either completely inept or he's trying to pull the wool. Well, he could be both too. May I suggest he is both. Or he's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. He's trying to make us believe that he is, again, like some political outsider. The guy's lived a half a century in D.C., folks. A half a century in this stuff. He's the solution. He's the solution to what we see happening within our government. But that's what they want you to believe. That's what they want me to believe. They want us to believe the words that he's using, but the words are not rooted in reality. The words for critical thinkers are a laughable joke. That's what this is. It's a laughable joke, except for it's not funny because he's trying to become the leader of effectively the free world and the leader of this nation. And so my point here is in saying words mean things. Even though they don't want you to think that they do, well, they want you to think that they mean things that are superficial, right? They want you to believe that there's, that there's, if there's an issue that conservatives are concerned about, it's being blown out of proportion, and they'll try to minimize the message and dilute what's really the problem. If there's something that they want to capitalize on, then it's, of course, the worst problem that ever existed, and it needs to be fixed today, and it's, of course, systemic. But when we hear words that are uttered like Ilhan Omar uttered about systematically dismantling, it all goes back to this idea of dismantling law enforcement, dismantling our system of justice, dismantling our economy, our system of economics, dismantling our political system, folks. That is by definition revolutionary. That's what she's calling for, and she's sworn to uphold the Constitution. She just goes up there and kind of haphazardly, matter-of-factly, what are you going to do about it sort of attitude, calls for revolution as a sitting congresswoman. And of course, if you attack her, it has to be because you're racist, because she's black, or you're against immigrants because she's immigrated from Somalia to the United States. It can't be because of anything substantive. Give me a break. It's 100% substantive. I couldn't care less about any of those things. She's female, so she's black, female from Somalia. If you have a problem with what she said, it has to be, in the minds of the radical left, because you are racist, sexist, or xenophobic. You don't like people that are different from you. Of course, what I don't like is the ideas that are being espoused by one Ilhan Omar. I don't like for revolution to casually be kicked about by a sitting U.S. Congresswoman from what appears to be the steps of a Capitol building. Maybe it's not. But just nonchalantly calling for revolution, economic revolution, political revolution, having a revolution over our system of justice, dismantling these things. Folks, dismantling means something. It means disassembling it, taking it apart, getting rid of it, right? Dismantle. I mean, it's not complicated. The media wants, no. They're just talking about, they're just talking about making some changes, tweaking it. No, they're not. As a matter of fact, they're talking about political revolution. And so that's what's kind of beneath the surface of this entire program today. So that being said, I got to take a break. When we get back, I want to share this conversation between Terry Crews and Don Lemon, which, again, while not directly related to the words of Ilhan Omar, Terry Crews touches on this idea in a sense of really what the Black Lives Matter movement is about and these revolutionary components. And he's actually Terry Crews is actually saying some very accurate things about this. And Don Lemon acts confused, even though he's really not confused. He just doesn't want to accurately portray what Terry Crews is saying here. But anyway, we'll play that when we get back. Sit tight. We'll do that in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indydecorativeconcrete.com. www.indydecorativeconcrete.com.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
All right, welcome back. So, I want to share this part of this interview between Terry Crews and Don Lemon on CNN. So let's see if we can do this here. That's not what I want to do. Not sure why. Let's try this again. All right, let's see if this works. So look at that. Here we go. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what I was just getting so excited about. So here it is, Don Lemon talking with Terry Crews, and I just wanted to share this with you because I think this is dialogue that's, I think, important, and it's good to hear from someone in that world of Hollywood entertainment and so forth, because this is becoming a rarer and rarer thing. But here you go.
All right, everybody, please listen to this segment because actor and activist Terry Crews facing backlash for tweeting, "We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better." Here's how he explained it. Are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No. Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people, no matter the race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decide to die on this hill. Terry Crews joins me now. Terry, man, you stepped in it. You say that you're willing. You say you're willing to die on this hill. You've taken a lot of heat for this. Explain what you were thinking and why it's so important that you die on this hill.
Well, again, I wanted to bring up the fact that there are some very, very militant type forces in Black Lives Matter, and what I was issuing was a warning. It's one of those things where I've been a part of different groups, I've been a part of different things, and you see how extremes can really can go far and can go wild. And then when you issue a warning, and when a warning is seen as detrimental to the movement, how can you ever have checks and balances? In the 60s and 70s, airplanes went down all the time. And the reason they found out why they did was because the pilots could never be questioned. And when you have the leaders of the Black Lives Movement who are now talking about, if we don't get our demands, we're going to burn it down. Other black people who are talking about working with other whites and other races, they're being viewed as sellouts or called Uncle Toms. You start to understand that you are now, being controlled. You're not being treated as loved. You're actually being controlled. Someone wants to control the narrative. And I viewed it as a very, very dangerous self-righteousness that was developing that really viewed themselves as better. It was almost a supremacist move.
Let me jump in,
where
Terry.
they viewed that their Black lives mattered a lot more than mine.
Okay, so let me jump in here. There's a lot that you said. You think if Black Lives Matter is, you said you think it's an extreme movement? Because it's now part of the...
No, this is the thing. It's a great mantra. It's a true mantra. Black lives do matter. But when you're talking about an organization, you're talking about the leaders, you're talking about the people who are responsible for putting these things together.
I got you. So let me, but
John doesn't want to hear
Terry,
that.
you realize that even during the civil rights movement that Dr. King was seen as extreme. That movement was seen as extreme. To people who don't want to make change, movements are seen as extreme. You can paint them easily as an extreme when they are not.
This is very true. But also, when you're talking about MLK, you're talking about Nelson Mandela, and even Malcolm X, they all realized that you had to have a non-racial component to these kind of movements, or there will be resentment. There will be get back. There will be, one of these people will tend to, listen, I don't want to move from one oppressor to the next. And one thing that really
who's the next oppressor? Who's the next oppressor?
Oh, when I describe this, when you look at the city of Chicago, there are 9 children who died by gun violence, by black-on-black gun violence, from June 20th all the way to today. And you're talking about, even with the Atlanta child murders, there were 28 kids who died in 2 years. You're talking about a month, and you have 9 black kids, and the Black Lives Matter movement has said nothing about this.
What does that have to do with
thing.
equality, though, Terry? I don't understand what that has to do with equality, because listen, there's crime. There are people in those communities those people aren't just being nonchalant about gun violence. I lived in Chicago. There are many people who are working in those communities to try to get rid of the gun violence. The gun culture in this country is
the gun culture.
prevalent.
All right, Don, I've had enough of this. So, but Terry Crews is right on so many things here, right? And so Don Lemon acts confused. What are you talking about, Terry? Don't you know that some of these movements throughout history have been viewed as revolutionary at the time? You can't fall into that trap effectively. You're walking into, you're echoing what the white supremacist, he didn't say this, but this is basically what his argument is. You're agreeing with the white supremacists here. You're falling into their trap. How can this be anything besides this, just a necessary revolutionary, or he wouldn't call it revolutionary on the airwaves, but just this needed movement. How can this be anything but that? Well, Don, it's led by a group that are quote unquote trained Marxists. So when Terry Crews talks about here, you don't want to move from one system or one group of oppressors to another, I think it's safe to say, and Don Lemon, I don't know if Don Lemon would agree with this or not, but it's safe to say that Marxists are at the top of the list of all oppressors. Marxism is by definition, the most oppressive anti-freedom ideology that really I'm aware of. There's some close competitors, and they're all in some way, in shape, manner, or form kissing cousins. But this idea that Don Lemon wants the focus to be on the mantra. Terry Crews is saying, hey, you got to look at the organization here, Don. The organization itself, he doesn't mention the fact that it's led by openly, proud Marxists. That's in my mind, very important. So you couple this with what Ilhan Omar says, right? You can see this is the pathway. This is the chosen series of steps, or this is part of the process of ushering in political revolution. Terry Crews is right here. Don Lemon feigning confusion. I don't know. Maybe Don is confused. I've watched him on New Year's Eve before go out and get plastered drunk or whatever. Didn't he get that piercing done one year? Had a little bit too much to drink, allegedly, at least according to my observations when I flipped through and saw that. It's been a couple of years ago. So who knows what Don Lemon's actually thinking. He's also had some, well, I don't want to get into that, but the point is that of course he understands. Of course he understands. And just because people are saying that a movement is, extreme doesn't mean that it is. Of course that's true. I mean, we're victim of that all the time. Conservatism, heck, Christianity can sometimes fall into that depending upon who's articulating it. I understand that. Truth and shining that light of truth on something helps expose, well, those who want to misrepresent in the case where it's being misrepresented, or to expose what's really wrong with an organization, like what Project Veritas does when they're talking or exposing, organizations like Facebook or Google or Planned Parenthood, right? The light exposes to the truth, exposes the truth to the light of day. What is happening in these organizations? And of course, people bury their head in the sands and they make excuses for that in many instances. But the point here is that we have to understand that the words Black Lives Matter, you can say I agree with that, but I don't agree with the organization. I don't agree with their stated purposes, their objectives. I don't agree with the Marxist ideology that's embraced by at least two of the three and maybe all three of the founders. They're trained. Not only are they Marxists, they're trained Marxists. Folks, they're telling us, they're telegraphing who they are. They create chaos and havoc and then use said chaos and havoc to achieve their political ends. You couple that with, of course, Ilhan Omar's comments from wherever she was, talking about how we needed to dismantle our economic system, political system, system of justice. I mean, that's America. She's saying get rid of America. She's saying embrace Black Lives Matters, that movement, that organization. What do they want to replace America with? Well, Marxism. Folks, this isn't complicated. It's hard to accept because you're sitting here thinking, man, this is a sitting U.S. Congresswoman. Yeah, but she's a radical. She's more radical than the average person can possibly comprehend because that's not what they taught you in civics class. It's not what they taught us. Taught about compromise. We're taught about, hey, everybody loves this country and we're just coming at it from different perspectives. And this is how a bill is introduced and created and turned into law, blah, blah, blah. And that's all important. I'm not blah, blah, blah in it completely. But I'm saying what's happening here is something much different. And it's something that many Americans can't get their arms around. And if they can, and they do get their arms around it, they realize, I've got to stand up. What am I going to do here? I just want to live my life. I don't want to be subjected to the radical nonsense that these groups, employ against people who disagree with them. Anyway, we're long in this segment. Going to stop and take a break. Come back, and actually I want to shift gears and talk about this church in Troy, New York. Troy, New York is where that church is from. I had said New Jersey earlier, but we'll do that when we get back. Sit tight. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. and I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegie, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegie, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegie Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com. Welcome back. I had mentioned a couple of times on this program, there's a church, I had said in New Jersey. It's in Troy, New York. Now, again, I don't know specifically. I'm not, I can't speak specifically as to what this church teaches. That's not so much what this is about. This is Grace Baptist Church. You may have seen some of the stuff on social media. But they are the parishioners, the members of this kind of the folks that attend this church are being blocked from going into the church. They're being harassed. There's some scuffles that break out. The group of Black Lives Matter protesters actually goes into the church at one point, chanting Black Lives Matter, getting a little bit, I could say, getting violent with people, using some very inappropriate language. There's police officers on the street. I'm not even sure what the police officers in this particular. I saw one police officer there that was in one particular camera angle, and you could tell he was reluctant. And of course, I mean, you look at the whole climate. I understand. I mean, you know, people are scared to do their job. In fact, I was watching a fight take place, and he really wasn't even acting concerned about it. The boldness that these groups have, and again, well, first of all, they're chanting, "Whose street? Our street." So basically, this church is, you know, right on the street in Troy, New York, and they're basically coming up to the steps because, of course, the street and the sidewalk are public, and you have the right to assemble. Of course, the key word, apparently, people who are maybe law enforcement in Troy, New York, or, you know, the folks that decide
when something becomes violent, they're confused. Chris Cuomo's confused. Where does it say, he says, that protesters have to be peaceable? In the First Amendment, tough guy Chris Cuomo? That's where it says it. People have the right to peaceably assemble. You know what that word means, peaceably. And if you watch these videos, and there's a lot of them, and you got to get your bleep button ready. This is not safe for work or safe if you have the kiddos around, because there's a lot of F-bombs being dropped around there. And those F-bombs are being dropped by the Black Lives Matter protesters. I mean, they're screaming in megaphones within an inch or two of maybe 3 or 4 inches, right in the ear of these folks that are just simply trying to protect their church and get their members into the church. This is crazy nonsense what we're witnessing. And it goes to show where the tentacles of this extend into. Well, again, if you raise questions about this, people say, oh, you don't believe Black Lives Matter. What the world conversation are you having, man? We're talking about people who are trying to go to a house of worship. We're talking about people who are trying to go about living their lives without threats from radicals, which is what's happening. It wasn't a peaceful protest. I can assure you of that. When does a protest become a riot? Well, when you start storming buildings that don't belong to you, going into churches and dropping the F-bomb, you've ceased attending a peaceful protest. There's now a violent component to this. I love how these things are justified. Folks, this is not justifiable behavior. Staging a protest does not mean that you have every right to use any means whatsoever to force the other party to listen to you. I don't have to listen to this nonsense. But when they hijack your church, when they block your street, when they don't let you into your church, at some point you're forced to at least engage. These people just are trying to mind their own business. And again, I don't know specifically what the church teaches. You got to be careful because there's, some churches that teach some things that are really wrong. That's not most of them, but I don't know. I don't want to tell you that. But honestly, it doesn't matter what that even is, because people have a right to go there. Even if I would persuade them, try to persuade them that what they're doing is, not biblical, if that's the case. And I'm not suggesting it is. I'm saying that that's not the way to approach that. That's simply not the way to approach it. Anyway, you got to see these videos. Maybe I'll post some of this stuff online. But again, if you watch it on Facebook or wherever you watch it, Twitter, just be prepared. Be prepared to either put your headphones on, turn the volume down, because the F-bomb comes a-flying. There. So, look, it's every aspect of our culture. They're now attacking churches, religious institutions. They want to come after the economy. They want to come after the system of justice. They want to come after our entire political system, according to Ilhan Omar. This is an all-out revolution. The sooner we accept that, and the sooner we understand that that's the terms on which we have to battle this, the better off we're all going to be. And I've got to take a break. You're listening here to Conservative, Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 down, back up $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Welcome back. So here we are, waning moments of the program. Just a few minutes left here. But I want to just go back through and say to you, the things we've talked about today are the reason that we're launching Conservative Not Bitter University. And if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be a part of Conservative Not Bitter University, if you want to learn how to be as an effective of a conservative communicator as possible, if you want to learn more things about just, the way to persuade people to be, more effective in that regard, or other conservative ideas and principles that are important, that we need to fight for, that we need to persuade others to believe. If you want to embark upon that, become better, actually proactively, intentionally play a role in returning this nation to her foundational roots. And no, I'm not talking about slavery. It's pathetic that I even have to say that. I'm talking about what we find in the founding documents. Those ideals that Biden tells us we've never, ever, even including his 44 years in office, we've never lived up to. We've never lived up to. But I'm telling you that we have and we can, and that no people or nation is perfect. But I tell you what, the outline, the foundation set forth by the founders is exactly what we need more of, even though they fell short without any question by embracing the reprehensible, institution of slavery. It doesn't mean that all their ideas were wrong. In fact, many of their ideas were spot on right. And we've got to return to that. If you want to be a part of that, if you want to help push this nation back in that direction, I invite you to be a part of CNBU, Conservative Not Bitter University. It's one of our new It's our new online conservative academy. And we do some trainings, some video courses, and some other things as well. Right now, we're about to launch here in the not so distant future. You can text the word course, COURSE, to 888-111. Again, text the word course, COURSE, to 888-111, and we will be sure to update you when as that comes together. But I got to take a break here. One more quick timeout, come back and wrap up. If you're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk, I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
All right, folks, that is all of the time that we have today. I know this is the moment that you are the saddest of all day, because the end of this program has come. But fear not, we will be back tomorrow morning. You can also check out archives of this program, toddhuffshow.com/listen. And you can engage more with our Conservative Not Bitter University as we develop that. Text the word course to 888-111 to learn more about that as well. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, SDG. As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value